Welcome to something to talk about.
Yeah, really loud.
Welcome to something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco. I'm here to talk about Mathis Rowan. That's right, covering a Reachman. And welcome to this the Song of Ice and Fire lore. If you don't know what's going on, I think this will tell you what's going on. Yeah, read this, pause this, read this. It should tell you what's going on. And then let's get to good old Matty, good old Matty Rowe, good old Matt Rowe. There you go. I figured out a name. See, I don't have these nicknames planned. They happen pretty quick. All right, let's talk about Matt Rowe. Mathis Rowan is the Lord of Goldengrove. That's the name of the his seat, and the head of House Rowan. He is married to Lady Bethany Redwyne, and he has 3 kids, including at least 1 daughter. Mathis is stout, flamboyant, and clean shaven. I'm one of those things. I'm flamboyant. I'm not clean shaven. I guess I'm stout. I don't know. I'm chubby. That's not stout. Stout's like usually muscly. I'm not muscly. I'm chubby. But I am flamboyant. He wears a snowy doublet with a great tree worked upon the breast in gold thread. That's pretty sweet, actually. According to Kevin Lannister, Mathis is sensible, prudent, and well-liked, able and loyal. Tyrion Lannister thinks Mathis is gruff, blunt, and to the point. Yeah, I like him. All right, let's talk about his house. House Rowan. House Rowan of Goldengrove is Golden Glove? Golden Gloves? House Rowan of the Goldengrove of Goldengrove is one of the most prominent and old families in the Reach. Its dominions existing all the way to the northern borders. This may, or all the way to the Reach's northern borders. This may mean that Rowans were made Marshal of the North March to replacing the declining of House Osgrey, who are now their bannermen. Their sigil is a golden tree on silver. They like several of the major houses in the Reach, the Rowans can trace their descendants from the legendary Garth the Green Hand through his daughter Rowan Goldtree. Let's talk about Rowan Goldtree. According to the legend, Rowan Goldtree was so bereaved when her lover left her for a rich rival that she wrapped an apple in her golden hair and planted it upon a hill. From the apple grew a tree whose barks, leaves, and fruit were yellow gold. I don't know what that has to do with bereaving. Like when I got dumped, I was just sad, cry myself to sleep and stuff. I never was like, I'll get back at her, wrap an apple in my hair. I don't know what's that got to do with being bereaved. Man, that tree's golden. She must have been mad. What? Or sad, I guess. All right. Anyways, hey, however you have to grieve. I'm not gonna shame. House Rowan traces its roots to Rowan's daughters. In some tales of the Reach, Lan the Clever was bastard born of Rowan for her sister Flores the Fox. Yeah, I've done a short on Flores the Fox, and possibly Lannisters might be from the fox or from her, the tree. good old the Rowan the tree. All right, let's talk about Mathis again. Good old Matty Rowe. Robert's Rebellion. During Robert's Rebellion, Mathis stayed loyal to King Aerys II, just like his liege lord, right? He assisted his liege lord Mace Trell during the siege of Storm's End, mostly just feasting and partying. That was how they sieged back then. That was the style at the time. Lord Eddard Stark peacefully lifted the siege following the sack of King's Landing. He's like, the war's over, go home. And they're like, okay. And Rowan bent the knee to the new king, Robert Baratheon. Lord Mathis found singer Darian, you guys remember Darian, in bed with his daughter, who was 2 years older than the singer, under the eyes of her father, she claimed that it wasn't consensual, and Darren was sent to the wall to join the Night's Watch as punishment. Darren insists the relationship was consensual. Yeah, poor Darren. I mean, he kind of becomes like a jerk. Should I cover him? Maybe a big character, but yeah, singer up at the wall. He went up there because of that. Yeah, and it's Anyways, this is not a video about Darren. We're talking about Maddie Rowe. War of the Five Kings. At the outset of the War of the Five Kings, Mathis joins his liege lord Mace Trell in declaring for King Renly Baratheon. Here we go. So new war, new thing. Just another day, right? During the melee at Bitterbridge, when Brianna Tarth wins the whole melee and a spot in the Rainbow Guard, Mathis and several other nobles are with Renly in his gallery. So when Catelyn Stark, that's whose chapter this is in, shows up, who has come as an envoy for her son, arrives, she recognizes the stout Mathis on sight. She's like, that's Maddie Rowe. I always can tell. After Brianna is awarded the place on the Rainbow Guard, Renly speaks to Cat. When the Kingslayer is mentioned, Mathis is dismayed to learn that Jaime Lannister was not executed after being captured at Robb's army, the Whispering Wood. He's like, dude, just kill the Kingslayer. He later sits next to Catelyn, and with the Jon Fossaway on the other side during the feast in a large pavilion. Yeah, you got Jon Fossaway on one side, Mathis Rowan on the other side. That's not bad. That's not a bad hangout. That's not a bad hang. All right. King Renly. After the parley with Stannis Baratheon beneath the walls of Storm's End and to Renly's pavilion. So this is the parley that Renly gives him a peach. All right, gives Stannis a peach. Sir Parman Crane and Aemon Coy of the Rainbow Guard stand outside while Brianna Tarth is admiring the king, and Lord Randyll is. Oh no, Brianna Tarth is armoring the king as Randyll Tarly and Mathis Rowan are speaking of dispositions and tactics. Lord Mathis, that's who this video is about, is telling Renly that they should just advance before dawn. Let's just go now, since the soldiers are in position. And Lord Tarly agrees, since if they wait, they will be charging into the sun, which is not good, into the rising sun. But Renly will not have it said that the victory was won by treachery. When Lord Tarly asks what to do if Stannis yields, both Renly and Rowan are amused. Renly is like, yeah, dude, he ain't gonna yield. And Renly recounts how Sir Gawain Wild tried to escape surrender to Mace Trell during the siege of Storm's End, and Stannis was going to hurl him using a catapult over the walls. This is when Mathis is like, I don't ever remember CBD going over the walls. And he's like, yeah, it didn't happen because Maester Crescent told Stannis that they might need to eat him later. That is a fun story. Dude, the last guy who tried to like open the gates, like Stannis flung him over or was going to fly him over. And then Crescent's like, that's good meat. And he's like, you're right. Thankfully, they didn't have to eat him because, Davos Seaworth did his thing. How did I not forget Davos's name for a split second? Okay, that's just a funny story. I had to leave it in. After receiving their final orders from Renly, Mathis and Randyll depart to ready their soldiers before the battle can take place. However, Renly is assassinated by a shadow. Yep, that's the shadow right there. That shadow killed him. That shadow looks just like Stannis. All right, so that didn't happen. So moving on. The Blackwater. Here we go. Mathis is among the lords like Lord Tyrell. Do not side with. Mathis and other lords like Tyrell do not side with Stannis after the fight because a lot of people go over to Stannis. He is one of the leaders of the Reach, along with Randyll Tarly, that go and meet with Tywin Lannister at the headwaters of the Blackwater Rush. They bring him to Tumbler's Fall, where Lord Mace Trell is waiting with a huge host and a fleet of barges. The very large host embark on the barges and sail just outside of King's Landing, where they strike Stannis' army in the rear. Wow, during the Battle of the Blackwater. That's it. They sail up on barges. Wow, that's some cool D-Day stuff there. And they pretty much beat down the rebel army and save the entire city. Thanks to him bringing the Lannisters, he is considered a hero of the Blackwater, and Mathis is rewarded by King Joffrey in his throne room. Yeah, him and Randyll kind of saved the day. They saved the day because, like, the Blackwater's happening, and then the Tyrells flip sides, and they go meet with Stannis or with Tywin, and then bring his army over to save the city. So depending on whose side you're on, that's pretty cool. Or that's lame if you're a Stannis guy, which I am, and it's lame. Mathis attends a small council meeting. He kind of gets put on. He's not like a lord of anything. He gets brought in for a very short time into the small council as just like an advisor, right? He just sits on the council. He attends a meeting after the Blackwater. Queen Cersei Lannister attempts to influence Rowan by jests and smiles. She's kind of getting flirty. She's like, "Oh, Rowan." And yeah, Rowan, yeah, that's not working. Mathis, where was I? Tywin Lannister, Joffrey's grandfather and hand of the king, just in case you guys forgot who Tywin was, grants lesser tracts of land to the Rowans. Mathis appears upset when Tywin mentions the unresolved deaths of Elia Martell and her children at Second King's Landing. Whoa. Yeah, sore subject. Don't bring that up. During the wedding feast of Sansa and Tyrion, Mathis dances with Cersei and Sansa. That's mighty fine of him. Mighty fine of him. As a guest at Joffrey's royal wedding, Mathis gives the king red silk tourney pavilion as a gift. That's great. Just a bunch of weddings and then a funeral. But yeah, funeral. Yeah, after the death of King. Did I say? Oh, hand of the king Tywin Lannister of King Tywin. I know he acted like it. Cersei tries to stack the small council in her favor. First, she asks her twin Jaime to be hand, but he rejects her. He's like, "Nah, I ain't no hand. I don't even have a hand. I only got the one." Cersei settles on her uncle Kevin as the hand next, and she again considers the possibility of the Tyrells being involved in the murder of Tywin, as Lord Mace must have known he can never rule the Seven Kingdoms if Tywin is alive. That's the motive that she thinks. She also thinks his bannermen Paxter Redwyne and Mathis Rowan, that's who we're talking about, cannot be trusted. Later at the funeral, for Tywin, when Mace Tyrell comes before her, he mentions that his uncle Garth is on the way to assume the duties of Master of Coin. Oh, yeah, okay. The Queen Regent, not wishing to see another Tyrell on the small council, immediately backpedals that and says that Giles Rosby has already accepted the post. Yeah, wow. Finally, Kevin meets with her for dinner, and so again, this will circle back to Mathis. Yeah, Kevin meets with her for dinner as she had requested. Cersei asks him to be Tywin's hand. Kevin first admonishes her and for making Mace Tyrell look like a fool in front of half the court. He's like, "Dude, you made fun of Mace Tyrell. Stop doing that. He's powerful." He offers to take up the position as hand, provided she removes herself from King's Landing and goes back to Casterly Rock. Cersei is infuriated, and a fierce argument takes place during which she threatens Kevin. Unfazed, Kevin counsels her to name Randyll Tarly or Mathis Rowan as Tommen's hand. He's like, "Name one of them then." As both men are Tyrell vassals. This makes Cersei even more angry, and she accuses him for abandoning Tommen. Yeah. Of abandoning Tommen. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Dude, you should probably make either Randyll Tarly or Mace or Mathis Rowan like something." And she's like, "Nah, screw it." So she just gives it to Harry Swift and Giles Rosby and people like that. Not very smart. Not very smart. All right. Siege of Storm's End again. another siege. This place gets sieged all the time. This place getting sieged all the time. Garland Tyrell takes half of the Tyrell strength back to Highgarden. And his lady mother and grandmother had gone with him. The other half marches south with Mace Trell and Mathis Rowan to invest Storm's End. So they're going to siege it again. Still held by Stannis' men. Yeah, so they're going back to Storm's End. Gilbert Farwing is the current castellan. When Mace hears that his daughter Marjorie has been arrested by the High Sparrow, he returns to the capital, only leaving a token force behind to keep Stannis' men pinned inside the castle. So Mathis rides with Lord Tyrell to Storm's End. Oh, why did I write this twice? That's hilarious. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why I have that repeated. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so he's just there. He's just still there with his quote token force. So most of the Tyrell men went down with Garland, and the rest went back up to King's Landing. So there's just a very small force that is actually sieging Storm's End. And then guess what? A certain fake Aegon is on his way, right? So now we're past where we were. Like, now the book stuff's done, so I'm just going to get into, theories and other stuff, right? So we're caught up. Mathis and his token force. By the way, this was a request from Real Talker Walk, so thank you, dude. I found not one, but two Reddit posts from L. Chris about, they were a couple years apart, about Mathis Rowan on Reddit. They discuss how Jon Con will likely take Storms and very easily and very early in wins, and how Mathis in his siege fits in. If interested, go read them. They are not long. It is very likely that he will lift the siege and go join fake Aegon. He might be part of the quote friends in the Reach that Jon Con speaks of, right? Or this also echoes how they surrender to Ned and Robert's Rebellion, where a new person shows up and they just drop the siege. But yeah, so that's Mathis Rowan. Not too much going on. He's kind of just one of those, and he's around guys. We don't get too much of him. And yeah, he's currently the guy who is sieging Storm's End as Jon Con and the Golden Company, along with Aegon, show up. And we'll see how they take it by guile or whatever. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. That was Mathis Rowan, good old Matty Rowe. And yeah, peace.